So these are said berries. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Alex, your dinner party diva, and today I'm sharing with you how I make the most of summer berries. Summer produce, especially fruit, is like absolute peak. You've got strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, all kinds of berries. You got peaches that are coming in. Like, everything is just so good and so sweet and so delicious. For the most part, I just like to eat them as is. There are few things better in the world than a perfectly ripe summer strawberry or peach with the juice starting to drip down your arm. Oh my god, it's so good. But something I love to do, especially when I go to the farmer's market, is rescue some of the overripe produce. I talked about this last year and this video absolutely blew up. So I'm excited to bring you the YouTube version of how I make the most of a pint of overripe berries from the farmer's market. So these are said berries. These are said berries. Beautiful and deep red, but a little soft. I got these, I think I paid $3 for all of these organic berries from the farmer's market, when normally they were going for like $5 or $6. So I'm going to do a few things with these strawberries for you today. I'm going to turn the berries themselves into a strawberry syrup. I'm going to take the tops that we trim and infuse some vinegar with those. And then I'm going to take that strawberry syrup that we've made. I'll take the strawberry solids from that syrup and put them on my yogurt bowls in the morning or over ice cream. They will absolutely be delicious and will be eaten. And then that strawberry syrup, I'm going to turn into the best strawberry lemonade. So if any of this sounds interesting to you and you want to see other easy recipe videos, especially geared around entertaining, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm taking 2 containers here, one that I'm going to put the berries themselves into and one that I'm going to put the strawberry tops into. Now, I posted these videos on my Instagram last year about using up overripe produce, and literally within a matter of days, my audience doubled, which was such a wild thing to watch. It got almost a little scary. Like when you see that millions and millions and millions of people every day are looking at you, you get a little meta. And I'm super excited to bring back like a formal documented recipe this year. Because last year I was just doing things really off the cuff. I didn't think too much about it. I really didn't expect 2.5 million people, probably 3 million people across all platforms, to be so enamored by strawberries. But it was, yeah, I'm excited to bring this to YouTube. So all I'm doing is taking the top green parts and a little bit of the fruit off. I'm not being really precious about it because I know that I'm going to be using the strawberry tops for something else. But I am trying to minimize the amount that I am cutting off. These are so beautiful. So sweet. A little soft, but still gorgeous. Part of me that almost feels bad, like turning peak summer produce into baked goods or desserts, or doing anything with them that isn't just eating them as is. I feel like it feels wrong. When you get like a perfect late summer peach, there's really quite nothing like it. And anything like, I make this really good peach pound cake, which I'll probably post about later on this summer. But I almost exclusively use like overripe produce for that because I just can't bring myself to use the best of the best in a way that's not just eating that peach outside. Great summer produce really should be eaten outside. I don't think it's a law, but it almost should be. I've got my strawberry fruit and my strawberry tops. I'm going to take these tops, and in this instance, I'm going to cover them with about a cup's worth of white vinegar. This I'm then going to let infuse in the fridge for about a week. But there's so many other things that you could infuse the strawberry tops, or infuse with the strawberry tops. I have a little bit of vodka that I infused, tequila, strawberry infused Campari, or some strawberry infused Aperol for like the best Aperol spritzes this summer. But right now we're going to keep it classic with just white vinegar. Just want to add enough to fully submerge. I know white vinegar on its own is so strong, but the sweetness of the strawberries really turns it into something very similar to balsamic. So I will use this anywhere that you would use balsamic dressing or balsamic vinegar. A vinaigrette used like to season a caprese salad in a marinade. I think it would be delicious on some grilled chicken. And in a little bit, I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn this into an incredible shallot and strawberry vinaigrette. So I'm going to put this in the fridge. In about a week, I will strain out the solids, and then you've got incredible, delicious strawberry vinegar. I swear at any point in the summer, I have a batch of this going. It also makes an amazing host gift. If you're going to a barbecue or a dinner party with friends, bring them some strawberry vinegar. They'll love it. Now I've got these strawberries here. I'm going to take an empty container, tear it out, so that I can see exactly how many berries I have. I've got 238 grams of strawberries here. I'm going to divide that number in half, which is 119. I'm going to add half the amount by weight of sugar to strawberries. So we're going in with 119 grams of just plain white sugar. This is in some ways similar to a Korean chong, which is a fermented syrup made with equal parts sugar to equal parts fruit, but it's different in a couple ways. One, for me, a chong is just too sweet, and I think the sweetness really, like, for me, takes away from some of the fresh fruit notes. And this also is not fermented. It's inspired by, but not the same as. What I love about this kind of a syrup, though, is that, you know, you could make a traditional simple syrup where you are cooking the strawberries in sugar and water on the stove. But not only is that diluting the strawberry flavor, it's also giving you a cooked strawberry flavor because the strawberries are being cooked. In this way, you're getting really fresh, unadulterated strawberry notes in a really fresh and clean and simple syrup that really just tastes of strawberries. This is great with fresh, also incredible with frozen strawberries. And one of the great things about frozen strawberries is that the act of freezing them like creates all of these jagged ice crystals inside of them. So when they defrost, they are a lot juicier. They're a lot more ready to give up their fruit, give up their juice. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I've heard some other creators talk about like that crystallization process. And that leads to a quicker result and I think, much tastier result as well. But we've got our 2 parts berries to 1 part sugar. And we're going to let this sit either on the counter or in the fridge until the sugar is completely dissolved. I'll leave this on the counter for about 24 hours just to give it a head start, and then I'll put it in the fridge to let it finish. But again, because I'm not trying to ferment this, I don't want it to sit out at room temperature for much longer than a day. All right, and now it's time for a couple of swaps. This is some strawberry syrup that I made earlier this week, along with some strawberry vinegar from those strawberry tops. Now it's time to make something out of these. I'm going to start with the strawberry vinaigrette. The new infusing batch is already turning pink, but look at how deep and vibrant the one that's been sitting in the fridge for a week is. All of that strawberry juice and flavor has transferred into the vinegar. I still smell like some vinegary notes in it, but it mostly just smells like strawberries. So I'm going to go and strain the vinegar out. Really nothing to be done with these anymore. They're kind of inedible, so I'm just going to compost them. Let's turn this strawberry vinegar into a delicious vinaigrette. This is a recipe that I usually make with balsamic vinegar, and it's like the best balsamic dressing you've ever had. It is Carolina Gellin's balsamic vinaigrette recipe. This is just my variation on that for the summer. Taking 1 shallot, finely chopped. A 1/2 cup of strawberry vinegar. Yep, great. Well, 2 to 3 tablespoons of sugar or honey. I like to start with the lower amount, see how sweet it is, and then adjust if needed. And I like to use sugar rather than honey just because I want that strawberry flavor to stay at the forefront. The less flavors we're adding in, the less things there are to compete with that strawberry. A tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and this is for both that tang and the emulsifying properties of Dijon, a pinch of salt, and 3/4 a cup of oil. I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of neutral oil and a 1/4 cup of olive oil just to have a little bit of that olive flavor without it being overwhelming. Now, this is my shameless plug. I earn nothing from this, but if you don't have an immersion blender in your kitchen, I highly recommend it. 10 out of 10 times, I would rather have an immersion blender than a full-size blender. The full-size blender is a pain in the ass to clean. It takes up a lot of space. It's really hard to like blend small quantities of things like mayo or salad dressing or any of these things that are possible but a pain in the ass to do by hand. An immersion blender is your best friend. So if you don't have one, or if you're on the fence of should I get an immersion blender or a regular blender, immersion blenders all the way. So I'm going to blend all of these ingredients first. Shallot vinegar Dijon mixture is homogeneous. I'm going to slowly stream in this olive oil. All right, that is beautifully emulsified. It'll thicken up some more in the fridge. Oh my God, that is so stinking good. It is bright and punchy, and the shallot really comes through, but it also balances with that sweetness of the strawberry. This is such a stupid good salad dressing, and it's good now, but it's going to be even better tomorrow. Once it sits in the fridge, all of those flavors come together. The shallot will soften, the strawberry will brighten. Everything will just really come together beautifully. So, like I said, if you have the time, if you're serving this for a dinner party or you want to meal prep it, try and make it at least a few hours in advance. You'll really notice the difference. Maybe it's not the prettiest color. It kind of reminds me of like the Teletubby. Do y'all remember the time on the internet? I think it was big on Tumblr that people were saying that like the Teletubby food machine was actually what McDonald's chicken nuggets looked like. Like that pink goo that was coming out was actually like McDonald's manufacturing their chicken nuggets when it was really from Teletubby. Well, all of that to say, this is kind of that like Teletubby pink color, but I promise you, it tastes a lot better than it looks. It's fantastic. I can't wait to have this in my fridge all summer long. I'm going to clean up a little bit, and then we're going to make that strawberry lemonade. All right. This is the strawberry syrup that I prepped a few days ago, and it's just been sitting in the fridge since then. All of the sugar has melted, which is really all you're looking for. I'm going to just strain this out. God, that just smells so friggin' good. Now, you could flavor these with a few different things if you had wanted to. I love to do a couple of strips of lemon or orange peel. You could have done a vanilla bean in there, would have been great. I've done some like Earl Grey infused ones before, which like the efficacy kind of here or there, whether you really like got anything from it. But I think like a strong black tea infused in there could be delicious as well, which is foreshadowing because we're going to take that strawberry lemonade I make and turn it into like the most delicious Arnold Palmer. And then you see all of these like beautiful jammy berries. They are so soft. Still have a lot of strawberry flavor in them. You could either go all the way and cook these down into jam, add a little bit more sugar, or what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put them over my yogurt bowls in the morning with a little bit of Greek yogurt, some chocolate chia seed pudding, and some granola. It's going to be delicious. So what I'm going to be making now is a lemonade concentrate. It is a 1/2 cup sugar that I'm going to combine with lemon zest, lemon juice, and then some of that strawberry syrup to make a lemonade concentrate that you can then add to, you can add regular water to it to dilute it to your preferred strength. My favorite is some club soda. I love that fizzy lemonade vibe. turn it into an Arnold Palmer, which is something I'm going to do as well. Turn it into a Tom Collins if you want something a little bit alcoholic. But all that to say, to this half cup sugar, I'm going to go in with the zest of 3 lemons. The proper zesting technique, I have been watching some of my like chef friends on YouTube. I do know you hold the citrus doesn't move, the zester does. But what I've seen them do is like you anchor your thumb here, and in one motion, the zest comes, the microplane comes all the way down. But like I struggle with keeping continuous pressure when I do that. So I'm going to keep working on that. But that is really easy. When you're grating, you want to be careful when you're zesting that you don't go too deep and start to remove some of that white, the pith. That is what can get really bitter. The zest has a lot of really beautiful oils. I mean, things smell incredible right now. But when you go too far down, it starts to get really bitter. Hold on. All right, now that I've zested those 3 lemons, I'm going to rub the lemon zest into the sugar. Pinch handfuls and like rub it between your fingers. That is going to release the oils into the sugar and just make it that much more flavorful. You're going to do this until the sugar starts to look like wet sand and it starts to take on a pale yellow color. If you are the kind of person who doesn't like pulp in your orange juice, rather than zesting the oranges, or rather than zesting the lemons, you might want to peel wide strips of it on and do the same thing, rub it between your fingers because those can be more easily removed. All right, to these, give it a roll on your counter to break some of the cell walls down. That will give you more juice. And we're just going to use these lemons. I'm shooting for between a cup and a cup and a half and 2 cups of lemon juice total. It's really important in general in life to zest your lemons before you juice them, because once they are juiced, I mean, there's no like structural integrity to try and zest against. It is a mistake that I have made many times when I'm supposed to zest some piece of citrus for a recipe further down the line and I forget. And then all of a sudden, no zest. But the zest is really where so much of those flavors are. If you just juice your citrus and don't zest it, you're really only getting like half of the flavor. Those 3 lemons gave me just over a half, or just over a cup. So I'm going to take another 1 or 2. I also low-key hate using a juicer. I just juice into my hand and catch the seeds. I am not a fan of like single-use gadgets. You will never see a garlic press in my kitchen. I think those are the like most annoying and frustrating kitchen tools on the planet. Garlic presses mangle the garlic. They only give you like half of it. The result is like mediocre. It's not super even. I highly recommend just using a microplane instead. Plus, they're annoying to clean. Sorry, we're making lemonade. You didn't need to hear my rant on garlic presses. And if you love one, please don't take it personally. It's just not something that I find useful in my personal kitchen. But I know plenty of people who do love them. All right, I've got about a cup and a half of lemon juice. I'm going to whisk to dissolve all that sugar in there. And then I'm going to go in with about equal parts of that strawberry syrup. I actually want a little bit more lemon juice. Now, one of the tricky things about gauging this is that because it's a concentrate, it's going to be really intense. It's going to be way stronger than you will ultimately want it to be. So you might want to take a small portion, mix it with 2 to 3 parts water, and gauge from there. But I definitely want this a little bit more tart. Now, I did get a handful of seeds in here, so I'm going to strain it into a separate container. which is also going to catch some of the zest. So this is another option if you don't want the pulp in there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is so refreshing. That is like the best Arnold Palmer I've ever had. So to use that lemonade concentrate, you're going to mix it with water, club soda, iced tea, whatever sort of liquid, and dilute it to the proper ratio that you would like it. I like to do about 2 parts water to 1 part concentrate. That for me is the perfect like mix of tartness and sweetness and everything. All right, I've got the strawberry vinaigrette on just a basic romaine salad or a couple of those macerated berries and some parm. That all together, so delicious. The vinaigrette is bright and punchy and sweet and fruity. The romaine is so crisp and crunchy. And that salty parm on top just like really pulls everything together. I would love like a handful of toasted breadcrumbs as well. This would be amazing with some like grilled chicken on the side. 10 out of 10. I'm excited to have that salad dressing in my fridge all summer long. And we already know that the Arnold Palmer is fantastic. Black tea I brewed, the acidity of the lemonade, the sweetness, the fruitiness. It's really just like the best Arnold Palmer you've ever had, I swear. I hope this gave you some inspiration on how to use some of your farmer's market produce, especially how to make the most of some of that discounted produce that might be a little bit past its prime. It is still just as good, and you can do so many things with it. If you liked this video and got something out of it, be sure to like it and subscribe. If you want the written recipes, you can get those on my Substack. The link is down below. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.